A great morning indeed, a beautiful morning indeed. You know, life is all about different angles, and you know, the way people look at things actually care. It's, you know, that's the note I want to start on this morning.
Okay.
You know, the way people look at things is different.
Yeah.
And sometimes the point of view of some persons can make you wonder and be like,
okay,
what?
Why are you thinking in this direction and why am I in this direction?
Like,
right?
and that's why, you know, conflict at times happens when we look at things from different angles.
Yeah.
And we don't get to see the point of view of the other person. And that's why a lot of people, you just discover that small thing triggers them because they are just looking at it from their own angle.
Okay.
They're not getting to see the other
way around.
It's just like, for example, now you have a coin. Okay, let's take this ball, for example. The other end is not actually gold. Maybe it's painted black. And I'm saying this thing is golden. And the other person on that end is seeing it's black. And we start fighting.
And the other person is saying it should be totally gold. There shouldn't be like a touch of black.
And you're wondering, by the time in our turn, it'll be like, oh, just a little turn. Look at it from the other angle. And don't just feel as if your own side is the only side that exists. Life can be a whole lot of things.
I totally agree.
And on that note, that's what I want to use it to welcome you to Spring Delights here on Western Spring Television, where we get to make your weekend delightful, you know, make it exciting, make it beautiful, make it relaxed. Life is not supposed to be hard. Behind the scene, we're saying something, talking about it's weekend, make life easy. You've worked all through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and this is Saturday. Relax, enjoy, you know, the company, the coziness of family, and make sure you have a delightful weekend. And part of what we do here is to make sure that weekend of yours is delightful here on Spring Delight, Western Spring Television. My name is Olufemi Alagbe, and it gives me a great pleasure to welcome you to the show for today. Ajibike is here, and she's fully back. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here too, Olufemi Alagbe. Yeah, good morning, dear viewers at home. How are you doing? Happy second half of the year. I mean, we've got it January to June. That is all gone already. And this is the second half of the year right now. And hey, like I keep saying over time, I say this over and over again, time, they say, wait for no man. And within a twinkle of an eye, July is going to be gone. And we're going to be looking and moving into the Ember month. So I'm just going to drop this right now that whatever it is that you got to do, remember, you just got to start doing it now because it is almost like we are on autopilot. Happy New Month once again, because this is going to be the first edition of Spring Delight on Western Spring Television. Okay, my name is Ajibike and Jory, and of course, I'm signing in for Spring Delight this morning. And it promises, of course, to be entertaining, enlightening, and of course, informative.
Yeah, just as you can see, the vibe is back as always. You know, you can't take away Ajib's vibes away from Spring Delight. It's always there. So interesting to have the vibes back.
Thank you so much, my guy. And you look amazing, by the way. Your hair looks really trimmed, and I love the tie. I must say, I really do.
Let me rock it well. You
Please rock it with pride.
Wait, when I was given the issue of point of view, I was talking golden. And I noticed that you're even having a touch of golden.
Definitely.
Even like say the tie, they give some golden.
There's a golden, but if you don't look carefully,
it's a golden, it's a golden Spring Light Saturday today, and let's go golden. At this point, we want to go for some aerobics where we get to stretch the muscles goldenly, and, you know, burn out some calories. And,
goldenly?
You know, goldenly, and everything goldenly. Let's go.
That's right. It is a beautiful Saturday morning. We are here in the city of Oshobo at Workday Event Center. The best way for you to take care of that body is by hitting the gym
Man on a mission, I see no competition, and I mind my business. God is my witness, they don't see my vision. I want to get them waiting and nothing. But come on, sorry, Jack, I'm she don't know, love me go, make me stumble. My head is solo, I done the follow. Don't be like that. I've been waiting, I've been watching, don't do like that. Now you I can't, now money had me fast. But if I say it, now you sweet me cross, sweet me cross, baby.
One, two, three, go. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't sweat all day, I don't rise. I don't see many things wise. I'm looking at you, you get wise. I've been waiting, I've been watching, don't do like that. Now you are kind, now money help me rise. But if I say the truth, now you sweet me fast. Sweet me fast, baby, make me
This is your favorite DJ, the Twisting Tiger.
What's your next destination? I give you my direction. Touch me where you don't touch foolish. 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 Touch down here. Money out of money. Really, I can't want to shut this up. Second, we need to touch down shit. They like to be dancing. Now we need bully, now we need baby. If you play with the boys, you go less. See the way you know me, just say we come up with me. They made too much noise. Now we need blood with conquest. You can't believe that we just any. She's in the Babosa, you were access. You want the money, you follow the stuff, you put in a box. Let's beg it. Say we see your body. I said, you know this part, you know the anybody.
Your back facing the sky, right
Love that man with the ball. Come down, me another dog. One time in the bedroom drop. DJ, waiting the song. Love that man with the ball. Come down, me another dog. One time in the bedroom drop.
Alright, we go back to the first time.
DJ is party. Party to party. DJ is party. DJ is party. DJ is party. You just wanna back to the rhythm. Dance and shake their body. The money with the shit on the fire. Mr. Bama, bring one bottle. Oh, yeah, take some bundles. Tonight's not shut down. Shallow plenty for spend. You just wanna back to the rhythm. Dance and shake their body. The money with the shit on the fire. Mr. Bama, bring one bottle. Oh, yeah, take some bundles. Tonight's not shut down. Cause I like it don't drop. It don't drop. It don't drop. It don't drop. Love that man with the ball. Come down, me another dog. One time in the bedroom drop. DJ, waiting the song. Love that man with the ball. Come down, me another dog. One time in the bedroom drop. DJ, this party. Party to party. DJ, this party.
We push and push. Push is higher power. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, bring it to the center. Now your right leg out.
I say free, hook up police. Block the day, one be like chopping noise. Be like you, I get blocked every day. What do you think they can talk anything? Baby, make it here for this time. Obi, you, they find out now. So, there's no need to they go out. I do this time, I do it all now. Baby, I do what this is. I say, money, you just take me side. Look into the we can play see the class. Big money, see melody. When you touch your body, nobody can find it coming. Then we come down disco. Play with my count on the go. I go start to dance like disco. The bedroom speak go be show. Them know we dey fall to disco. Roll them for them. Sing the fall to disco. Go disco.
Yeah, you're welcome back, and that's that there. I hope you took out time to, stretch out the muscles. You could see Ajib's already stretching even before we went on that very particular break, and I hope you enjoyed that session there. As you can see, I feature it and give you all the motivation and ginger to get to do the needful, and with those beautiful background music, as I always say, that music has an effect it does on you. It's not like you are exercising alongside dancing.
Having fun.
You are having the fun together as much as you're also making sure your body adjusts to the necessity of the feeling, because the truth is exercise is work in a way, but the blend, so make sure you are working as well as having fun and getting to stay fit and stay okay, stay normal. And that's what we get to do that in that very particular segments there, and I hope it was a wonderful time. You were there, James. How was it for you?
It's always relaxing when I hit the gym. I mean, I keep saying this, like, once you are comfortable enough to hit the gym, I think it is a go-to anytime. But I kind of feel like you just get to this stage of comfort before you say you want to hit the gym. I don't know if that is right, but for me, I feel like once you have that comfort, you want to hit the gym to burn. You have something to live for. You got to take care of your body, right?
Exactly.
It's right.
And that's that about that. All right, let's move away from that picture of the Chief of Staff to Mr. President there. You can see the picture of Prince Adeyemi, the said Director General there of that council that the presidency has denied not knowing anything about. And I think the picture there should be the another picture of another person there. However, this issue has sprung up on a lot of political parties. I mean, NDC particularly have been calling for Gbajabiamila to leave office and all that. However, that's that about that. It is what it is. This is the Nigeria that we are in now.
That's right.
We keep hoping that the needful is done. How will you have an agency and the presidency is saying they don't know anything about, and over 300 staff allotted to that very particular agency?
Oh my goodness.
Budget written.
I don't even understand.
I mean, it is what it is. A terrible one. Above that, below the nameplates there, we have this Inside Sunday Igboho's Iruekon Security Network, and that's the update talking about the issue of banditry that is also moving to the southwest.
Yes, right.
We are still shouting about the release of the abducted
children and teachers. Yeah,
real local governments there, and we're still keeping our fingers crossed and hoping the needful is done. Beside that, we have how Nigerian women trade fertility eggs for weeks food.
Is it that bad now?
It is what it is. I mean,
may hunger not happen to us.
I mean, it
makes people do despicable things, and you just wonder.
It's a big amen to that. I mean, well, check details of that on page 11 of the Weekend Trust if you want to read updates as to get, we're talking about point of view.
That's right.
Get to have a full gist before you get to, pass on a comment or say whatever it is as regarding that very particular one. What would have led somebody to that state?
Hunger.
Trading your fertility egg for wigs. No,
livelihood.
I understand the angle of food, but for wigs.
That is livelihood now, because everybody feel like they want to blend in and do,
It is what it is. Moving away from there to the right hand side, there you have family demands probe into alleged missing kidney.
Now this is not clear. What is going on there?
Well,
we're gonna find out.
A kidney is missing.
We don't know.
And family are probing to it.
Oh goodness.
It's
is that comic?
It's funny as well as serious. I mean, I'm trying not to.
I'm trying to fathom it of a missing kidney. It's not like a missing meat in the pot, Yeah. It's like a missing naira in the purse.
Check the details of that on page 28 of Weekend Trust there, talking about the missing kidney there. And those are the stories as we have them on the front page of the Weekend Trust for this morning.
Yes, and I'm going to be going into Saturday Sun right here on the front pages of it. I see this one boldly written here: flood fear triggers panic in states. Yes, I can see here anxious residents raise the alarm, seek interventions. State governments, communities activate emergency response.
That's on the Saturday.
That is
Sun
on the
there,
Saturday
so you
Sun.
can have it on the screen.
And like in the course of the week, I mean, the people in Lagos, they just kept speaking about how much the rain has just disorganized everywhere. I mean, houses are flooded.
It is serious.
I practically have a man who I mean, he could even move from his duplex, like he moved everything from downstairs to upstairs just because of the flood. So there's panic everywhere in states because of the flood. This is right there in on the Saturday Sun. And looking right down on the left, I see all you need to know about proposed NYSC reforms.
I mean, Ajivike, talking about that very particular is a very interesting story. There was an update saying that they will be using, instead of khaki.
Yes, I saw the
using adire. And you can see different versions of adire online. Like people are beginning to propose for federal government.
Yeah. So I don't know. Now, do you think that is such a good idea? Because I mean, our children, you know how they can get. Okay, so I'm feeling if that was even supposed to be implemented, probably they should have like a uniform style.
Well, some people are even looking at the angle of adire is tribalized. That is more for maybe the Southwest people. Now, what do you expect? Do you expect Northerners
to be a national thing?
Adire. Do you expect Easterners to be wearing adire, or how do you now bring it into a nationalized kind of thing?
Yes.
For Northern, Southern, Eastern, and aside these three major languages, there are other tribes
that has got nothing to do with adire.
Have no connection
with adire.
How do you address that? And in the course of the week, we had this thing on a segment on Morning Spring. That's a spring trend. We're talking about the quality, the thickness. Can it withstand a 1 year program?
Like the khaki does, yeah.
As khaki does. And now it's moving away from 3 weeks to 6 weeks now. You have to be in camp. The rigor you go through in khaki, you can wear your khaki for as long.
Actually.
Adire, well, it is what
and it can stand both the heat, the cold, and it's also very rugged. But then, of course, details of this we have right there in the Saturday Sun. And now looking up to my right here, this one got my attention again.
Okay.
This is from the gospel singer Buchi. He said, "I'm not aware taking alcohol is sin." Now he's saying why my new album focuses on unity in church. I'm not even going to say anything about this, but if you want to, listen and see the details, you can go to page 12 and 13. Buchi coming out to say taking alcohol, he never knew it was a sin.
I think since it's catching your attention, we need to check the details of that and get to see the angle of Buchi
that he is looking at. Okay, because it's almost contradictory a lot of times. Like you don't take things that sweat but it's okay. So yes, that is it about the front page of Saturday Sun.
All right, let's quickly take and match this together to wrap up the segments. The Guardian Weekend with the banner headline as we have it here: painful effects linger. That's talking about 3 years after subsidy removal. The issue of this subsidy removal has triggered a lot of things, and people are saying it's a bold step that Mr. President has taken. If you remember, the day he was sworn in, the first thing he said, subsidy is gone.
Yes,
Mr. President took the move, and it has taken a toll on Nigerians. Mr. President has always been saying it's part of the painful thing, sacrifice
that we have to make.
Nigerians have to go through for a better Nigeria. However, now 3 years after, it is what it is.
We are basking.
We are still on it. I hope.
In the fury of subsidy removal.
I hope it gets to the point. Now, to make it even broader, now the issue of Iran and Israel war has closed the Strait of Hormuz, and petrol is now above 1,000 naira. Now that the strait is opened and crude oil prices, in the global market has reduced, the effect has not changed in Nigeria.
Yes, right.
And you're wondering, so at this point, Nigerians have gotten to understand that it's not even the issue of Strait of Hormuz that is causing the hike in fuel price. Now they do
ourselves.
Let's get to business better. Let's move away from there.
Okay, let's go, Femi.
On the, let me just speak this quickly, talking about Osun State. You can see the picture of Mr. Governor there. Politics page, on page 8, you see the headline, how political horse trading violence may shape Osun governorship poll. And it's a terrible one there. You know, lots of deaths have been recorded
Yes.
as we approach August 15. Nobody's life is worth anybody's ambition.
I totally agree with you.
Let's get to do better. Moving away from there, Spotlight page 27, you have this: helping individuals confront life's challenges, rediscover inner strength is my passion.
You should.
Helping individuals confront life's challenges, rediscover inner strength is my passion. Okay, that's on the Spotlight. Then you can see the page of this person being spotlighted for the Guardian weekend there. Get to read details of that. The tension between government press in nature of democracy, Tinubu tells journalists. That's on the right-hand side of the banner headline. Below that, Defense Minister seeks unified strategy to secure oil and gas infrastructure. Below that, you have Africa needs adaptive security architecture to respond to threats. That's coming from the CDS. That's from the Chief of Defense Staff there. Check details on page 3 of the weekend, the Guardian weekend there. Below that, you have internal checks exposed fake presidential council scam, not system failure. Internal checks exposed fake presidential council scam, not system failure. Talking about that agency we talked about the other time.
Okay.
But check details of what the presidency has to say there on page 36 and there. And these are some of the headlines I'll be able to take because of time.
Yes.
From the Guardian weekend here on Spring Delight here. And we can check details of that and all the stories, as you can see on the front page there, and other dailies that we have taken for review for this morning. And this will be wrapping it up on the paper review segment here on Spring Delight on Western Spring Television.
Yes, and right now we got to move ahead to our celebrity birthdays and, of course, today in history. So if your birthday is on a day like this or in the course of the week, you need to know that we celebrate you. And the truth is, it doesn't necessarily have to be your birthday to celebrate, because at the break of each new day is actually what's celebrating. So to all our celebrants, we are wishing you a very happy birthday, and I pray it's not going to be your last. So yes, we got to go take this.
What God has done together, let no man put asunder. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder.
Tired of the snow? Tired of the bad TV signals? Nigeria has gone digital. Introducing Free TV, the national platform for every Nigerian. Get 100 plus channels immediately. Sports, news, and entertainment in your native language. All with clear picture quality. Whether you're in the city or the village, our satellite signal reaches every corner of 36 states from day one. No monthly subscription, just a compatible decoder and you are set. It's a national asset built for you. Take the show on the road, download the free TV app and stream your favorite channels anywhere. Starting this May, scan to download the app or call 0700 388 7277. Free TV, digital TV for free. Brought to you by NBC.
Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact number 2. The Bible is one of the best-selling books of all time, with more than 100 million copies sold every year.
Most Christians believe in heaven and hell.
The Bible is the most translated book in the world, with more than 3,000 languages.
Amazing fun fact number 5. Most Christians throw science out of the window without realizing that most scientists are Christians. Hello, I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi.
And I am Dr. Adeoye Oyewole.
Join us as we
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to have you still with us on Spring Delight here on Western Spring Television. And we are set to get into the conversation talking about the 250th celebration of the independence of the United States of America. However, we are going to look at it in different angles as it relates to us here in Nigeria. And just to set a background to the conversation, today, being the 4th of July, as you know, we are looking at the world, the United States, basically, as it marks its historic 250th year where America gained independence. Yes, in case this is just to remind you or to make it known to anyone there watching who doesn't know, actually, America also was colonized at a point in time, but they got independence 250 years ago. Under the global banner of freedom 250. It's a moment of massive celebration, but also deep reflection on struggles of Black freedom fighters, the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and the continuous march towards true equity. But what does the milestone mean for international relations? And more importantly, what can younger democracies like Nigeria here learn from a nation that has spent 2.5 centuries navigating its own deep internal fault lines? And to break this down for us, to give us insight into the conversation, we are joined by absolute 2 panelists, let me call it that way, 2 individuals who will be looking at it from the angle, as I said, relating to us here in Nigeria. We celebrate with the youth and we say congratulations to the United States of America celebrating the 250th year anniversary of their independence. And to make sense to all these conversations as we bring it home, so the lessons we can learn from there, we have joining us right here in the studio, virtually actually, is Dr. Noseyaba Fueko, right here with us, joining us virtually. It's a pleasure to have you, Doctor. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Hello, Doctor. Good morning. It's a pleasure to have you.
Good morning. You missed out Tukura, my surname.
Oh, thank you very much, Dr. Tukura. Once again, it's a pleasure to have you in the studios with us.
Thank you.
All right. And also we have joining us virtually as well, the coordinator, U.S. Government Exchange Alumni Association, Ocean State Chapter. Before I introduce him, actually, Dr. Tukura is actually the president, U.S. Government Exchange Alumni Association. And also joining us virtually is the state coordinator, Osho State's chapter of the U.S. Government Exchange Alumni Association, person of Osaze, Mr. Osaze, the coordinator, U.S. Government Exchange Alumni Association. It's a pleasure to have you right here with us in the studio, Mr. Osaze.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. So thank you very much. Let's get straight into the conversation, and I would start with Dr. Tsukura first. And by the way, let me congratulate you for leading the USGE AAN during this historic milestone. From all of us here at Western Spring Television, we say congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Let's get straight into the conversation. You know, I will start from this angle, talking about the U.S. Embassy actually recently launched the Freedom 250 initiative here in Nigeria. I would like to ask, what is the focus on looking at the focus on values like courage and innovation? As the national president overseeing thousands of exchange alumni, how do you see the network translating these democratic values into tangible national development as we see in Nigeria?
Yes. So again, this is a very important occasion for us, not just for the US. As you have pointed out, we have been partners and we have been beneficiaries of the largesse, so to speak, the generosity of the United States government and the people. So we have over 28 exchange programs that the US government is sponsoring in Nigeria. So right now we have well over 14,000 alumni from Nigeria who have participated in one of these exchange programs. So there's been a lot of investment from the US in this country. And so as we join them in marking these 250 years of freedom, of their independence, we are first of all very grateful for their contribution to human capital development in Nigeria, which the Alumni Association or the alumni body represents. And that has translated in quite a number of contributions that the alumni have made in terms of national development and transformation. And so when we talk about the values of courage, like you have mentioned, we have seen that exhibited, the courageous steps, the things that are of courage. And I'm really proud to say that Samson Itodo, who is the leader of that movement, is one of our alum.
Proudly. Now, when we look at the history of American independence, I mean, we've seen the contributions of people of color, Black freedom fighters. A lot of times they were pushed to the margin before they were being fought for. Now, what does their struggle, what does it teach us about patience and resilience required to build an inclusive democracy?
Yes. Again, as we celebrate this 250 years independence, and going by the history of America has been a very rough one. So it's not been a bed of roses. Again, there is a school of thought, and I like that, that says that the bed of roses has thorns.
Definitely.
So we see the beautiful roses, yes, but the thorns are underneath. So I think that will be a good way to describe it. So there have been so many contradictions. There have been diversity. There have been some of the issues you raised, like the civil rights struggles.
Yes.
But it's an opportunity for us to pause and to learn, to see how the nationhood is a continuous process of confronting injustice, expanding the democratic circle. And these are things that we can draw on as African nations in our context, where we have diverse, multi-ethnic societies. We must deliberately invest in mechanisms, for dialogue, for proper representation, and then the rule of law, So as we celebrate the Freedom 250 with the United States, there are a lot of lessons that we can learn. It's a useful model for us because it's been 250 years, and Nigeria, we're just we're not even anywhere close yet. But it's interesting for us to learn so many lessons. It's a continuous process of development, but we must continue to confront the injustice, and that's what we see from the civil rights movement, and where that has taken them through the struggles up to being able to produce the first Black president,
That's right.
the person of President Barack Obama. So yes, so it's a great model for nations, to look at.
All right, so let me come to Mr. Osaze there, the state coordinator this time. Talking about this, the innovation and all that. How do we take this massive ideals, the global ideals? U.S. has transcended into a very great nation, and when talking about politics, governance, a lot of countries look at the US, looking at the level of advancement and all that. However, looking at it from the issue of massive global ideals of freedom and democracy now, and the use of them to tackle grassroots issues, I want to ask, how can we translate that into like a state, Osun State particularly now, and bring about youth inclusiveness with this level of massive ideals that we have?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Let me start by saying that apart from being the Osun State coordinator for this alumni association, I also currently serve as the National Planning Committee for this celebration being led by the association. So next week, Wednesday, we have a very big event, that is happening across the country. And we're trying to see how we can use that event to answer lots and lots of questions that people may be having, particularly around this relationship between, Nigeria and the United States. But directly answering your question about how we can galvanize these opportunities for youth development to impact local environment, local communities. And I would say, just to continue from where my president stopped, building a nation is a continuous process. And we could see that, with the history of the United States. It's a continuous journey, irrespective of the challenges they've been through as a nation. But we could see a recurring, commitment of building institutions, investing in education, businesses, both within the country and outside the country, right? Investing in entrepreneurship, respect for, diversity and all that. So that's one of the things I think we need to begin to harness and learn, and then breaking it down to Osun State and across other states as well, because this association, we have at least 36 state chapters, and one in the FCT. So we have vibrant young alumni, like the president had mentioned, who are impacting their communities. So the beautiful thing about this cultural exchange programs that we go for, we become alumni members because we were sponsored by the United States government, through what we call cultural exchange programs. There are different cultural exchange programs, and we are to come back to our country, have learned, from how they do things, come back to our country and implement, projects based on the needs, based on what we see are the critical issues in our community. Take, for example, in Osun State, we just rounded up a program called Osun Youth Impact Academy. And that project was influenced based on some of the leadership values and some of the things we learned when we went to the United States. And then we're trying to give back to see how we can ensure that our young people, Nigerians, are also thinking globally, are part of the things that are happening across the world. The Osun Youth Impact Academy is actually launched this year, and it's just its first cohort. We had about 50 people selected from the nooks and crannies of Osun State. So this is the beautiful part of cultural exchange. you take selected people, to be trained on leadership, technology. I was trained on leadership and technology. And then these people come back and impact hundreds and thousands of people. Like the president mentioned that, you mentioned Yaga Africa. I mean, the owner of this station, Western Spring Television, was greatly influenced through a cultural exchange program, Dr. Femi Adefila, right? And there are several other people across Osun State who've been influenced across Nigeria. We have past governors, we have past, senators, we have serving senators, and all of that. And so we bring back those experiences, and we're able to create programs, projects that are, in tandem with things that we have learned on leadership, on technology, on business, small businesses, and all of that. And we're able to use that to empower young people across our nation. And particularly in Osun State, we had a lot of projects, that we have done in Osun State. We've been involved in small business digitalization, where we ensure that small persons who are selling, little stuffs, are able to brand their businesses and, attract, international buyers. So these are some of the ways I think that we could galvanize and, learn from, all that we see happening globally and bringing it home, particularly for youth empowerment, and development of our local communities. Yeah.
All right, before we continue to on this conversation, we have this video to bring to you. Get to watch it just regarding the 250th independence of America. When we return, we'll continue the conversation as it concerns us here in Nigeria. We're talking about the lessons and, the developmental strides that America has that we can also bring home to, use it to also develop a country like Nigeria of ours. Stay with us.
250 years ago, a dream was born, a dream of freedom, equality, and hope that gave rise to a new nation, the United States of America. From 13 struggling colonies to a land of 50 United States, this is the story of America's incredible journey. It all began in 1776, when brave men signed a document that would change history forever. The Declaration of Independence was not just ink on paper. It was a promise that every human being deserved liberty and justice. But freedom came with a price. The young nation fought wars, faced divisions, and endured pain. From the Revolution to the Civil War, America was tested, torn apart, and rebuilt stronger every time. Then came the rise of innovation, the steam engine, the railroad, the airplane, the internet. America's spirit of invention shaped the modern world. Through world wars and the Cold War, America became not just a country, but a global symbol of democracy, progress, and resilience. And now, in 2026, the United States celebrates 250 years of freedom, 2.5 centuries of triumphs, struggles, and dreams that built a nation unlike any other. But history never stops. The next chapter of America will be written by us, by the dreamers, the builders, the believers. From 1776 to 2026, this is the story of a nation that rose, struggled, and stood tall. This is the story of the United States of America. United States.
Thank you very much for still being there. Yes, that's that about that. And once again, congratulations to the United States of America on that very feat. However, I would still like to pose this question to Mr. Osaze, talking about the aspect of, towards the journey of getting to 250 years of independence. There are a lot of conflicts, a lot of survival and brutal civil war that America has also experienced, talking about deep racial polarization, yet they stayed together. Nigeria continues to battle the issue of tribal clashes here and there. We've also had incidents of civil war and all that. But what lesson can we learn as a country, that will bring about, that will transit us from this tribalization that we have in the country to become a nation united as we expect it to be? What lesson can we learn from that?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think there's a whole lot we can learn from these lessons, from the lessons that we see, with the United States. And like we said initially, there's been a lot of challenges. It doesn't be a free ride for the United States.
Yeah.
And we see that we talk about 250. Like we had a meeting yesterday, and the president was saying that somebody was asking, why are we celebrating American 250? Why celebrating another nation? You know, she only said to the person, well, let's wait till Nigeria is 250 so we understand. Because there's a whole lot, you know, that they've been through as a nation, and for us, we are less than 100. So I think that the first thing to learn, you know, from the American story is that they never gave up. And this is to every young Nigerian, every compatriots in this country. We not just speak as though we just empty motivations. We're saying there's a journey ahead of Nigeria, and we encourage that everyone should continue. We cannot give up. There are people who put their lives on the line. The activists, those who are speaking out, you know, those in the administrative sector, in all forms of institutions. Let's continue to drive, you know, this developmental processes. And we know definitely it may not be up to 250, but I know certainly that if we do not give up, we will definitely arrive at our dream country. Number one. Number two is that we must begin to equally invest in systems rather than in people. One thing that I have personally seen, you know, with the United States is that they've made a lot of investment in building institutions rather than building individuals. I think one thing we're getting wrong in our own environment is rather focusing on building so much and giving, you know, building individuals more than building institutions. If we continue to invest in education, invest in entrepreneurship, invest in youth development, you know, it will go a long way. Our economy, for example, it's something that, you know, we can deal with if we constantly invest in entrepreneurship and youth development. So that's something I think we can also pick from, you know, the United States. And again, this cultural exchange, you know, while I was ruminating over the Freedom 250 celebration, something came to my mind about a system that we have in Nigeria. All right, we are over 14,000 Nigerians who have benefited from the United States sponsored cultural exchange programs. Now, there's a system we have in Nigeria called the National Youth Service, NYSC. Yeah, and I see it as similar as cultural exchange programs, you know, but we have not really leveraged on strengthening our institutions. I know the insecurity challenges have shattered, you know, the hopes of many, and it has affected the way that program currently runs. But if we can look at that program, and because that's a major youth development program that can change the affairs of our nation if we continue. That program has lasted for a while now, and I know what I benefited from that program, you know, because it's a cultural exchange, young people coming from different backgrounds, from north, from south, from east, coming together, you know, and recently they now come together to create projects in their local community. So I mean, I'm from Edo State, you know, I'm Benin by tribe, and I was posted to Osun State to serve about 14 years ago, thereabout. And I remember I was teaching mathematics in, you know, Oshogbo Secondary School, and I did a lot of my developmental projects I've done today in Osun State. You know, I've developed young people. I don't have to care that I'm not a Yoruba man, right? But that was something that NYSC did to us, you know, and it's the same thing we are experiencing with the concept of a cultural exchange. You know, in our network, for example, like I said, we have about 14,000, you know, in the whole of the country, and we are from different tribes, religion, different sector, different professional background. And when we meet, when we're collaborating, when we're having a project like the project we're having next week, Wednesday, which is to celebrate America's 250 years of anniversary, independent anniversary, you see the beauty of collaboration amongst us. You see that the issues that affect us as a nation doesn't affect us when we come together with shared culture, shared, you know, understanding. So these are some of the things I think we should learn from the United States and from this celebration, and that can really go a long way to help our developing nation.
All right. So before my colleague comes in, I would like to go to Dr. Tukura there, talking about the issue of, you know, Nigeria is approaching its 66th independence. 1st of October, this is year 2026. Nigeria gained independence in 1960, and we are approaching 66th year independence. In your opinion, ma'am, what does freedom, what would you say freedom means to Nigeria as we mark a 66th independence as compared to, you know, the U.S. reflecting on its own 250th independence? What we have to say in comparison to those two nations?
Yes, we've also had a very dogged journey. I mean, we had our own civil war, and all the things that led up to that. And we now have a generation who probably are not very conversant with some of the things that have happened before. So it's also good that history has found its way back into our curriculum at the secondary school levels.
Exactly.
We must continue to confront the injustice, in the system, and to continue to expand the democratic circle. We can't keep recycling the same people. We need to expand that cycle. So representation is very important, and these are some of the lessons that we draw from the U.S. as we celebrate with them their Freedom 250. We are less than 100, like my colleague just mentioned. We need to continue to invest in mechanisms for dialogue. We need to dialogue more. We need to be more inclusive, have a greater representation from the different sectors, voices that not just are present at the table, but can speak into the issues in a way that, some people, I've had instances where they say, Madam, the way you are talking about is too nice. We need to rough it out. I know of a Nigeria that was not like that in these elections, right from the party primaries, the democratic system. So I'm not just talking about the elections on the election day, but the processes that lead to that, the outward one that we do on election day, where people actually go out to vote. There has to be credibility built into this system. So as we reflect on all of this, there's a lot we can learn. They had a rough history. We've also had a rough history. So we have some similarities. But how did they get out of theirs? They fought the war, but the war was not the end of it. There has been continuous dialogue. We have the examples of the civil rights movement, the examples of Martin Luther King Jr. To look at. So there are ways that we can move, and the younger generation needs to understand that sometimes it's not always by force or by fighting, but by sitting at the table, being respectful, and bringing our views out. We will be able to get a better listening ear sometimes. So we need to, and the leaders need to build a lot of credibility. One of the things that is really at stake in our nation is the deficit, the trust deficit is very huge. When our leaders say good morning and you look out the window, you want to be sure it's actually morning before you respond. And so that is where the exchange program, the cultural exchange program that we are part of, the alumni have experienced being part of the U.S. exchange programs, is that it has given us the privilege to see what is happening in some of these advanced countries, and we bring it back. And like the Osun State coordinator, Mr. Osaze has mentioned, we are doing a lot of things, and our exchange alumni is so robust. We span the whole spectrum. People in government are part of the Alumni Association, beneficiaries of the exchange programs. We have civil society, we have non-governmental, we have all the way up to those in secondary school. We have an exchange program that is focused on taking young people who are just about to go into their SS2. They go for a year of cultural exchange in a high school in the US, and then they return to complete their WAEC. To complete their SS3 in Nigeria. A lot of them have grown in the system. Now they are doctors, they are engineers, they are in various aspects.
Allow me to cut in here. You said something. Sorry, before my colleague comes in. Apologies. You made mention of something that you grew up in the era when Nigeria was in order. And it got to a point, the thing switched. I don't want to say it's in disarray now, but we hope things get better. However, I'm itching to ask, at what point, at the point you feel the order has switched, who is responsible and who is going to be responsible in bringing back that set order? In your opinion, the order that you feel is not there right now, who is responsible to bring him back, and who should be held accountable for that switch or transition from that set order?
It's going to be you and I. It's going to be me, you in the studio, and those of everyone else who is listening. We have to take responsibility. And that's what I took when I went for my own program in 2005 to 2006 for 1 year. I had to take responsibility because when I looked at the enormity of the challenges through the lens of being outside of the country and seeing what was obtainable where I was, it was overwhelming. But I made a decision that I will make a difference. I will shine my little candle. You know that song we learned in nursery school. Yeah. You know, in your little corner. Yes. So if each one of us would take responsibility to shine our candle in our little corner, you will see that it will grow into a great light. And that's what we are doing in the Alumni Association. We are encouraging, we are inspiring, we are challenging everyone who has had the privilege to go through an exchange program to say, look, don't come and cover your candle. Don't hide it under the bushel. Bring it out in your small corner. And like Mr. Osaze said, we are influencing in hundreds, in thousands, and in different spheres of the economy.
Yeah, and to buttress that song is This Little Light of Mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I totally agree with you. Okay, Dr. Tukura, I want to ask you this. A lot of times, young Nigerians, we tend to complain about our frustrations, about bad governance and the likes of it. Now, what major action should the youth take in order to become agents of this change we're speaking about?
Okay, I think one of the first things we should is to take responsibility, like I said. You know, we're born into a family. We're born into a country. We don't have a choice. But you have a choice as to how you will respond to the circumstances that you have found yourself in. And truly, from my research, a lot of the solutions that we have today came from people who were in uncomfortable situations.
Okay.
A lot of the solutions we have today came from people who challenged the status quo that they found themselves in. You know, they decided to interrogate the things that people had taken as normal, and they had become, just they had just given up. And they were living it. And that is where we all start as young people. The solutions to our problems as Nigerians will come from us. It's not going to come from outside. We can be empowered, we can be equipped, just like we keep talking about the alumni. But we must bring all of that back to solve problems. And the problems are here. And that's what makes us leaders. A leader is somebody who solves problems. If there are no problems, we don't need leadership. Everybody can just, go and rest on their oars and just enjoy life as peace. But we are here as leaders because there are problems. And so we don't throw our hands in the air. And when I'm talking about leaders, some people think it's a certain age bracket. Okay. No. You are a leader where you are. You can be a 5-year-old and be a leader. It's about influence. Are you able to say, hey, guys, let's not go this way, let's go right, and people go with you? You are a leader. So leadership is not just by position, it's also majorly by influence. Some people, yes, the position gives them some measure of influence, and once they leave that position, nobody listens to them. That's not true leadership. There are some people who don't have a position, but they are very influential. They can talk to their peers and say, look, let's walk on this side of the road, and everybody moves to that side without questioning. So that is leadership. So the way for young people to go is not just to cry and to lament and to point fingers. And that's why I said the responsibility lies with me, it lies with you, it lies with all of us. Thank you.
I like the part where she said it doesn't, irrespective of the age, you might actually be a child and still have the leader trait, in as much as you can tell people to go this way and they go that way. Now, let us move to this part of our community leaders, organizations, and the civil society in general. What role should and can they play in promoting a safer and saner Nigeria? Dr. Tukura.
Yes, okay. I mean, the reason they were put in those places in the first place is for them to provide that, for them to promote all of that. So it's for us, again, as the people who are being led, we need to have that capacity to be able to hold them accountable. You know, when we put people in leadership positions and we don't hold them accountable, then they can do as they deem fit. So these two things work, together. I always taught my children when they were growing up that responsibility and privilege are two sides of the same coin. You can't have one without the other. So if you have the privilege to be a leader, you also must be held accountable. If you have a coin that is one-sided, we call it a fake coin. Okay. It's a counterfeit coin. So as these leaders you have mentioned, they are there, but we need to be held accountable. They need to be held accountable. And we need to set mechanisms. The good thing about Nigeria, I've mentioned that we have laws, but the downside of it is that we hardly implement them. So what is the point of having these rules and these laws if they are not going to be implemented? So again, there is a role that the citizenship has to play, and there is a role that the leaders have to play. And it's only in collaboration, it's only together that we can make the headway that we see and are celebrating today with the American people for their freedom 250.
Impressive. Thank you very much, Doctor, on that. Because of warmth of time, we have to go now. But before we go, Mr. Osaze, it is believed that Nigeria is operating the federal system just as the United States. However, in your opinion, do you think that the federal system of Nigeria is the same as the United States? And what forms of reforms can we have to make states government or states now to have proper autonomy without breaking the national cohesion, in your opinion? In 30 seconds, please.
Right, thank you very much. Straight to the point. From my experience with the United States, it's a little bit different from what we practice here because, for example, I was in the United States and there was something that is a criminal offense in Washington. I mean in California, and it wasn't a criminal offense in a place like Washington and other places. So I think that one of the things we should learn is to see how best we can, like the president said, collaborate. We need a lot of conversation. Nigeria hasn't been so much open to conversation, inclusive conversation. Let's discuss issues, and see what are the best solutions. And that's what I think happens a lot, with the United States. So it's really not clearly the same. There are a few differences that, we could see. And I think going forward, if we can continue to promote that conversations that bring everybody together, to discuss on this critical issue, because what is obtainable in the north is not the same thing as obtainable in the south, and there should be some levels of just like the state police, and I'm happy that is big because it took too long. For example, we're saying, state police, and that would have dealt with a lot of issues. But thank God that's already been sorted, at the moment. So we need more of that, and to ensure that we get our country to where it ought to be. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Osaze, there for that very insightful one, and also appreciation to Dr. Tukura there. Thank you very much for coming and giving us insight as regards the lessons we can learn as United States of America celebrates its 250th anniversary. Nigeria approaching its 66th anniversary, and I think we have lessons to learn. There are similarities, and as we practice a similar form of a federation system of government, we hope that we keep evolving, and the lessons that we have seen and we have talked about, a lot to discuss actually, that we can take to discuss. Now we go on this break. Now I'll bring you the video to get to hear the speech of the president, the United States President Donald Trump, on what he has to say as regards the 250th anniversary of the United States of America's independence. When we return, we have another guest who will be speaking to the issues also virtually, talking about how the experience of the celebration is right there in the United States, and other angles as regarding the celebration of the United States independence. Stay with us.
We mark 250 years of glorious independence and 250 years of majestic American freedom. Nothing like it. In all the chronicles of the ages, never before has any nation celebrated so magnificent a triumph as this one, the one that we are participating in right now. At 250 years, America is the oldest republic on earth. We are the freest people on earth. We have the most righteous and enduring constitution on earth. We are the strongest and most powerful country on earth. And by the grace of God, the United States of America is the most successful, most accomplished, most exceptional nation ever to exist in human history. And it is great to be your president.
Thank you very much. And that is that day you can hear the president of the United States by the grace of God, United States is the most
successful,
state, the most successful.
I know.
When your president brags about his domain.
Come on, it's been 250 years for me. I think it is. I mean, it's worth it. It's up to it.
It's their celebration. Congratulations to the United States again and again. And we have a very interesting guest at this time in person of let me start with his designation, an international visitor leadership program alumni in person of Mr. Femi Olanipeku. And I need to add, he's actually the former head of station of Western Spring Television here, and
Rave 91.7 FM
on Spring Delight this morning, talking to us firsthand of what is actually happening in the United States. It's a pleasure to have you right here on the show. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Femi.
Good morning, guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you right here on the set. Let's start on a lighter note first. Can you tell us the update of how it is there in the United States, talking about the celebration of 250 years of independence? Give us first-hand information, sir.
All right, thank you. I mean, it's an interesting time here. Lots of fireworks in the last few days. Today will be the main day. Since yesterday, you could barely sleep across different towns and cities across the United States. There's been lots of fireworks, lots of events planned. This celebration has been in the planning for the past 10 years. There was actually a Congress approved America 250, chartered body to work out this celebration, devoting a lot of money, millions of dollars to fund and finance these, working with the private sector. But, events of the last few years also meant that this planning has been fractured. So we now have America 250, which is the one that, governmental set, approved by Congress. We also have the Freedom 250 that was set up by President Donald Trump. And many people have the opinion that is more partisan and more biased. A lot of musicians pulled out of that one. But, that's another story entirely. But talking about the feeling today, the heat is not helping in some instances. At least I'm aware of a couple of cities having to cancel their own celebrations, part of the celebrations. Yesterday we hit triple digits. The heat was terrible yesterday. The heat wave in many parts of the United States had about over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It was hot, and government had to issue excessive heat advisory. and many cities, Philadelphia, and I think Washington, D.C., and a couple of other cities had to cancel their own. But that aside, it's been a lot of celebrations. Today is the D-Day, a lot of fireworks. Many towns and cities had fireworks celebrations yesterday, and this has been coming, we've had a couple of events, even a UFC fight on the lawns of the White House hosted by the president himself. Many activities, many towns celebrate. So aside the national celebration, that's celebration also happening in different towns and cities. America is a proper federal country, and so it's not a top or bottom approach that you have here. Everything is bottom up. So as you have the president and the federal bodies doing their own, you have, more importantly, the ones that the people can relate to. You have cities and towns also doing their own celebration. So it's been great. It's been amazing, but it's also been fractured. America is perhaps at its most divisive moment in its history, aside the Civil War. The American society is so polarized, and people are more divided today, maybe more than any other time in their history, aside the Civil War, maybe during the Vietnam War. So it's just been fun. It's been lots of celebrations, but the heat has not been happening anyway.
Oh, so sorry about the heat. But then, Mr. Femi, you look good, by the way. It's so good to see you again.
It's good to see your face again, also.
Thank you, sir. So now, beyond the fireworks and festivities over there, what conversations are Americans having when it comes to race, inclusion, democracy, and of course, the nation's future? So what are they speaking about right now?
Well, so this country was found on, life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. The Declaration of Independence, and it's what makes America unique. The fact that they're saying anyone here. The last line of the national anthem is about the land of the free, the home of the brave, and the thinking of the founding fathers was that anyone here is free. Anyone here can achieve anything, and that's what's called the American dream. You can pursue life, you can pursue liberty, you can pursue a life of happiness. That's the original intent of the founding fathers. So it's somewhat contradictory because many of those who signed the Declaration of Independence were slave owners at that time. But at least, they talked about the fact that everyone here will be free and, all of that. And it's been a country that has reinvented itself. It has the world's longest running single codified document called the Constitution, that's since 1788, that's been amended 27 times. So it has always reinvented itself at different times. That has challenges, that has shaken, or that's shaken the core of the nation. But they've always found a way to cope admirably, to reinvent, to adapt to that situation. So the conversation today is about is America living the reality of its founding fathers, or are things deviated? The conversation today is about affordability, about how expensive it is to achieve the American dream. Wow. It's about the current polarization of the American society. Americans do not see eye to eye. Americans see things from a conservative lens and from a liberal prism. Americans do not necessarily agree on a lot of things, and they believe that Americans believe this is the greatest country on earth, but I think it would even have been greater if they had more unity, if they had some agreement on certain things. But I think that's also part of the hallmarks of this nation, and also part of why they are great. They agree to disagree, they disagree to agree, and they are able to move on and achieve things in spite of some of those disagreements. But the recent events with the coming in of President Donald Trump has made the country, so polarizing. Debate about how we really integrating people. What's the status of migrants? Are we really treating everybody equal? Are some people, more favored than the others? There's questions about diversity, questions about race, because this current government has done a lot in upsetting the cattle up, sort of, saying things will not be done the old way again, on the international scene, on the home front. America has led the world. It's been like the policeman of the world for the past 80 years, setting a world order since the end of the World War II. And a lot of things also here, that they've done a certain way. But this current president said, well, things need to be done differently. And there are a lot of people who agree with him. So these are some of the conversations going on today about what is actually, are we still living the dream? Are we still following the intent, the original intent of the founding fathers of this nation? Is the reality still what the founding fathers intended it to be?
All right, so let's look at it in the angle of let's bring it and be specific now, looking at the aspect of U.S. and Nigeria's bilateral relationship, looking at the issue of the immigration crackdown there in the U.S. and being intense with the current administration of President Donald Trump. What can you say about the bilateral relationship of Nigeria and the United States as regarding the current level at which the administration of President Donald Trump is really cracking down on immigration?
Well, Nigeria still has very strong bilateral relations with the United States. The United States is still one of the biggest trading partners of the, they're still, the U.S. is still the biggest trading partner of Nigeria, at least on the African continent. There are a lot of Nigerians here in terms of education. Nigeria has a sizable number of citizens studying right here in the United States. And we can also see the extent of the collaboration on intelligence and security. We saw the efforts and the support of the U.S. government in helping Nigeria tackle terrorism. We saw the United States deploying assets and men to tackle terrorism in the Northeast. I think some of the soldiers just left, the Northeast some few days ago. So there is a lot of relations, relationship going on between Nigeria and the United States. What is happening about immigration and some of the restrictions is not particular to Nigeria. I mentioned the other time about this current president saying, well, things have to be done a different way. And many people have read meaning to that about wanting to preserve, some set of people or maintain this kind of brand, or ethnicity for the country. And so Nigeria is sort of just caught up in that web. Nigeria is one of 39 other countries for that proclamation that banned, visa restricted access, immigration access to the United States. So Nigeria is not in isolation or particularly targeted in this case. It's just one of many other nations. There is a 39 list. There is also another list of countries that's more than 40, almost 100 countries altogether that are affected by these visa bans. But that has not totally slowed down Nigerians' access to the United States. I have a couple of friends who came in to cover this World Cup, who secured their visas around the same time that everything is being restricted. The immigration ban is just a part of President Donald Trump's administration's immigration reform effort. And that's also creating a lot of tension, even back home here. Why Republicans, the party that the president comes from, agree with this. There are a lot of Democrats, even some Republicans, who do not agree with the way the United States under the president is carrying out this particular immigration reform, if you like it that way. And it's possibly going to play a big role in the midterms, the elections coming up in November. So the way the United States works, elections are held every 2 years, especially for Congress. So it's going to, there's still a debate as to if the Republicans will be able to retain, both houses of Congress, but the Senate and the House of Representatives come November. And that's also because of some of these immigration issues. While the immigration has earned the president a lot of support from his hardcore base, it's also earned him a lot of flack from members of the opposition and other people. A lot of immigrants who are citizens in the country today, many of them do not agree. Even if some of them really agreed with him when he was campaigning, they also agreed that the immigration process needed to be reformed. But then the extent to which he has carried out those reforms have alienated the president for some of those independents. They're called independents, those who do not ordinarily subscribe to a particular party or whose voting pattern oscillates from party to party depending on issues and circumstances. So, these are some of the issues on ground. The United States has very robust relationship with Nigeria. I think it's still standing. The issue of the immigration ban, Nigeria is not in isolation. Nigeria was not particularly targeted, I dare say. Nigeria is part of a committee of nations affected by that immigration process, and I believe that the Nigerian government is also engaging. I think we have an ambassador now. For a long time, we didn't have an ambassador here, so I believe that there are some back channel efforts to resolve these, possibly to get Nigeria off the list. But that does not mean that Nigerians are not entering the United States. A lot of Nigerians are still here. A lot of Nigerians are still entering the United States, but maybe not with the same volume that it used to be before.
Yeah, okay. So I was just going to ask you this personal question. Okay, so you, Mr. Femi Olanikwekun, how do you hope to celebrate today? What is going on there with you today? What is your day going to be like?
Okay. Well, like I said, the heat is crazy, and probably we'll find a beach to go with the kids, and turn these off someone, and just maybe watch some fireworks. Also go to the city center, watch fireworks later in the day, and just spend time with family. But there'll be a lot of activities. I'm a very private person.
I know you are. That was why I threw that question at you.
So, I may not maybe do too much, but I'll do my bit. Celebrate the United States, and then watch all proceedings on TV, follow online to see how different parts. I'm a journalist, so once a journalist, always a journalist. You can't leave it out. So I'm going to be monitoring how the event is celebrated across the United States and see what happens.
Thank you, wishing you all the best in the celebration, and as you get to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States. And talking about the heat, do well to stay safe, and we wish you all the best in the celebrations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right, that's all. We're wrapping it up on this segment, talking about the 250th celebration of the United States. We've been speaking with Mr. Femi Olanikwekun, telling us firsthand of what is actually happened there in the United States, and telling us different activities going on there, particularly also the issue of the heat wave there. There's really also
lucky us right now
affecting as part of the thing there. So it is what it is. However, either ways or whatever it is, congratulations once again to the United States. And I believe the lessons we've learned so that we can pick for our country, Nigeria, everyone taking their various clues and getting to do the needful to ensure that every country has its own uniqueness. And we also ensure that we learn from the similarities that we have, we pick lessons from that to develop and grow. America is still growing, Nigeria is still growing, and we as individuals, as we're bringing it to ourselves as personalities, as humans, we also need to evolve and keep it growing. And this is why we're wrapping it up on Spring Delights for today. And I believe you've had a wonderful time, interesting time, following along with us and getting to understand history, talking about Nigeria's history. 66 on October 1st. It's 250 for America today. Congratulations to them once again. And congratulations to us in advance as we clock 66. Ajibs, we need to go.
That's right. Yes, it has been a beautiful time, no doubt about that. And in all that you do, remember, do whatever you got to do it right, and don't forget to have some fun. My name is Ajibike Anjorin, and I pray to God I see you same time next week. Have a great weekend.
It's been a wonderful time and a wonderful ride on the show today, and it has been all American conversation relation to Nigeria. I'm a proud Nigerian, and it's very
your tie say so.
Get into. Does the tie look nice?
It doesn't say so.
Don't mind that, Jimmy. That's why we're wrapping it up on the segment for today. Until I see you again next week on the set, Spring Delights bringing you delightful conversations as it concerns you. I am Olufemi Alabi. Do catch up with us on our social media handles: Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Western Spring Television. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and catch up with us on all our programs. Western Spring Television NG. Until next week, God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bye for now.